Okay, I'd like to call the Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee to order. First item is Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, item number 3, adoption of agenda. I need a motion to adopt.
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support Van Sickle.
Made by Romano, supported by Van Sickle. Are there any discussion items? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item is approval of minutes dated November 9th, 2021. Need a motion to approve.
So move, Hall.
Support Van Sickle.
Made by Haw, supported by Nard. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next item is public participation. This is the first opportunity for public participation for those who wish to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on an item which is on today's agenda. There will also be a second opportunity for public participation for those who would like to speak on any issue. Would anyone from the public like to speak? Please come to the podium. Going once, going twice. We'll close public participation. Next item is the public hearing relative to the proposed budgets for the general fund, certain special revenue and enterprise funds, and the debt service fund for the fiscal years ending September 30th, 2022 and December 31st, 2022. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved by Nard.
Made by Nard, supported by Romano. We can please vote on that.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, we have an open public hearing. Would anyone like to speak from the public relative to the proposed budget? Going once, twice. Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved by Nard.
Made by Nard, supported by Wallace. Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next items is the department recommendations. 7A, it's a contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, Blue Care Network HMO. I need a motion to recommend this to full board.
Moved by Kleinfeld.
Support Farrington.
Made by Kleinfeld, supported by Haw. And John, are you going to be speaking about this? You have the floor.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Can everyone hear me? Okay. This is our yearly renewal of our Blue Cross PPO and Blue Care Network HMO. These are self-insured products, and which means that as we get claims in, we pay the claims, and we also pay an admin fee and a stop-loss fee attached to each contract. This is pretty explanatory. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
Thank you, John. Let's see if we have any speakers. I don't see any speakers on this item. So, Commissioners, if you please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Okay, next item is 7B, contract Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, and Blue Care Network. This is the 2022 administrative and stop-loss fees for active employees and retirees for $2,724,726. Need a motion to recommend this to
Chair,
full
can I
board?
make the motion we do B, C, and D together?
I will accept that.
Support by Nard.
Made by Hall, supported by Nard. Have any discussion? John, would you like to add anything to the 3 additionals?
Just that, once again, this year, our employees do not have to pay a monthly premium. Those involved in our healthcare products of the PPO and the HMO products. So we fall within the statutory caps once again this year.
Okay. Commissioners, I do not see any speakers. Please vote. Thank you, John.
Well, thank you, and have a good rest of the day.
Motion passes 13 to 0.
Okay, next item is item 8, budget amendments, 8A. So we have these in front of you, Commissioners, numbered in order. I'll start at the top based on the sponsor and the motion maker. So if we can get this going with the first amendment. And if the motion maker can make that, we'll get support. And then if there's any discussion, we'll handle these individually and take them one after another. So, number 1.
Chair, I'll make the motion. We increase the prosecutor's office personnel line item by $127,200 to add a communications director.
Support by Nard.
Okay. Staff, are these all going to be, as far as speakers in this item, in our agenda, in the system? Okay. Okay. Seeing no speakers on that item, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 1. Commissioner Kleinfeld voting no.
Okay. Amendment number 2.
That was my motion. Sorry, that was my motion, Chair. It's to increase the prosecutor's office personnel line item by approximately $127,200. We're adding an executive assistant.
Support Farrington.
Motion by Romano, supported by Farrington. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12 to 1. Commissioner Kleinfeld voting no.
Okay, amendment number 3.
Thank you, Chair. Number 3, increase prosecutor's office personnel line item by approximately $23,100, add intern coordinator.
Support by Nard.
Motion by Haas, supported by Nard. Any discussion?
Chair, if I may.
Yes.
We had an extensive presentation by the prosecutor. We've probably received more paperwork and attention to this particular or these particular line items than any budget I've ever seen in my career. It gets down to a simple, is this a want or is this a need? And he's talking the need to perform these functions to keep Macomb County safe. And these are the individuals that he has indicated that he needs. So the reason I'm supporting these amendments is his presentation, the materials that he has supplied us, has been completely thorough and accurate. I know there's going to be disagreement moving forward on whether or not how these positions get filled, but at this particular juncture, it gets down to, do we believe our prosecuting attorney or not? So thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. Since there's maybe a lot of 12 to 1 today, I'm not sure. I just wanted to clarify something. This isn't my making a statement as to the prosecutor's need or not need. I have had a long-held philosophy that I don't add things to agendas. I usually go through 2 budgets. I go through budgets and I look for areas to cut, and we were given a pretty lean budget this year. I just don't want anybody to take my vote personally for that reason, and there are disagreements on the needs in different departments. I know the prosecutor received several positions, and I don't know if it's the amount of positions in 1 year. I'm not even going to try to figure that one out. I'm just going to stick with my philosophy this year and not add anything to the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no other speakers on this amendment, please vote.
Motion passes 11-2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Matusek voting no.
Hey, amendment number 4.
Item number 4, I believe, is mine. It's to increase the prosecutor's office personnel line item by approximately $21,800. He's looking for a part-time file clerk.
Support by Nard.
Motion by Romano, supported by Nard. Any discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
I'm sorry, that's a no.
Motion passes 10-3. Commissioners Wallace, Matusek, and Kleinfeld voting no.
Amendment number 5.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to decrease property tax revenue by $1.3 million.
Support Farrington.
Made by Brown, supported by Farrington. Commissioner Kleinfeld?
Thank you, Chair. I was looking for clarification on something with regard to this. I know that it shouldn't be in the budget because we haven't voted on whether or not to assess a tax. But my concern is if we remove it from the budget, I'm not sure that I will get an opportunity to determine whether or not to assess a tax. And so I was kind of trying to figure out if it was the board's position that if we take this out, then whether or not there's going to be a tax assessed is laid to rest. It's my opinion that even if it were left in the budget, they would still have to come before us for a vote on that. But if this is my one and only opportunity to cast a vote on that, then I would be voting differently than if I'm just correcting the budget. Thank you.
Chair, would you like to respond to that?
We're doing this to clarify that it's not the board's intention to include a tax revenue into the budget.
Okay, seeing no other speakers on this item.
So that's the final, it won't come before us again, because what he said is both things, so he didn't really answer what my question, my need for clarification was. So, just for clarification, if we vote to take it out, it probably will not come before us this year.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion passes 11-2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Matusek voting no.
Amendment number 6.
Motion to add a line item for the clerk's office on marketing, promotions, election information dissemination for $50,000.
Support Farrington.
Motion by Haas, supported by Farrington. Seeing no,
Chair, I'll speak to it. Thank
you
you.
have the floor.
If you recall, when the clerk appeared in front of us, he mentioned the many functions and deeds that he performs, and that he was looking for a venue to try and get more information out to the public, especially on the Register of Deeds issue, which he thinks he has improved dramatically, but yet the public doesn't have an opportunity. I think with all the controversy going on with our elections, how they were run, some other terminology that has been used, this would be money well spent. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Song, you took your name off there? Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 11-2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Song voting no.
Amendment number 7.
I'd like to make the motion, Mr. Chair. This is for the Elections Department to decrease contract services by $125,000.
Support from Kraft.
Made by Farrington, supported by Kraft. Commissioner Farrington, would you like the floor? I have another.
Yes, please. Basically, I appreciate our county clerk coming forward and letting us know this is for recall efforts if need be. And basically it was decided, or I'm putting it out there that if a recall vote is needed, we'll find the appropriate funds at the appropriate time to make sure that's covered. Thank you.
Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Farrington answered my question. So, thank you. Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion passes 11-2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Matusek voting no.
Okay, next item is amendment by myself here. So this is increase county at large drains line item by $50,000.
I'll make the motion for that
I'll support.
because you can't.
I'll support.
Made by Farrington, supported by Haw. And I will speak in regards to this. So Commissioner Miller had extensive conversations with us in regards to a lot of the drain cleanings. Over 100 were completed, and felt that this amendment would benefit all of us. So that's why the amendment is in the budget. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 12-1. Commissioner Kleinfeld voting no.
Okay, next amendment is number 9.
I'd like to make the motion, Chair, to decrease the personnel of the emergency services by $100,000. If we look at history, emergency services...
Commissioner, we need support.
Oh, sorry.
Support Farrington.
Made by Van Sickle, supported by Farrington. Go ahead, Commissioner.
If we look at history going back a couple of years, emergency services was a lot less. And as we come out of the recent problems we've had with various things, we should be looking for a brighter future and not need quite as much money in that area. And would like to get back toward a more reasonable amount as we previously had 2018 and before. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I respectfully disagree with the decrease of this personnel line item. Emergency services, ComTech, and the whole operation over there has been taxed heavily during the COVID, and it's shown stress on the staff, barely able to keep up with the demands on it. With the additional responsibilities coming at it by additional communities coming on board, as well as the need to protect our community, tornado in Armada, the flooding down in Warren, really put a tax on staffing. And that extra money for personnel is needed to not only keep the community and the county better informed on what's happening, but to provide the necessary service we need in times of natural disasters and during the pandemic. And I think it's needed, and so I respectfully will be voting opposed to this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion fails 3 to 10. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Haw, Zinner, Matusek, Sabatini, Nard, Romano, and Wallace voting no.
Okay, amendment number 10 for finance. It's my motion, but I need someone to make it.
Decrease personnel line item by approximately $94,700 and eliminates one internal auditor.
Made by Romano, supported by Farrington. I could speak to this briefly. I think it's pretty clear as to what's described here in the line item. Are there any other speakers on this item?
Chair
Seeing-
Sabatini, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. I made the motion because you cannot, so I made the motion for you. I will be voting no on this, but I wanted our finance department, they needed a couple. He mentioned why he needed the couple. I'm in favor of him getting those couples, but I just did that so that it would be brought forward. Thank you.
Commissioner Farrington.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on it. Steve came forward with very good arguments needing the accountant. Totally agree with it. The internal audit, on the other hand, would be a new department or a revamped new department that they had years ago, of which I'm thinking let's walk before we run, so one of the two people would be more appropriate than two new people. So that's where that came from. Thank you.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
With respect to the finance department, any opportunity to strengthen internal controls would be something I would support. Thank you.
Just to be clear, Commissioners, this is a reduction of one of the two internal auditors that was requested. One is still in the budget, along with a financial analyst. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 9 to 4. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Haw, Song, and Romano voting no.
Item number 11.
Make a motion for the Health Department to decrease personnel by approximately $259,400, eliminating one professional support and one clerical staff. This will basically hold the Health Department at the staffing level that they are currently at.
So a motion by Commissioner Van Sickle needs support.
Support by Nard.
Supported by Nard. Seeing no speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion fails 5 to 8. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Kraft, Haw, Matusek, Farrington, Sabatini, Romano, and Wallace voting no.
Amendment number 12.
I move that for the Health Department, we decrease the supplies and services by $635,300, which would move it.
Need a support? Made by Van Sickle, supported by Zinner. Commissioner?
With the pandemic over, we should not be needing as many supplies and services for the Health Department, and that's it.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
I'm glad the pandemic is over. I was unaware of that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair. With all due respect, Commissioner, the pandemic is not over. Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers, Commissioner Zinner.
Someone spoke to me recently and suggested people stop watching the news. Thank you, Chair.
Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion fails 2 to 11. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Haw, Song, Matusek, Farrington, Sabatini, Nard, Romano, and Wallace voting no.
Amendment 13.
This is also for the Health Department to decrease the contract services by $48,200.
Have support. Seeing no support, it dies. 14. Commissioner Van Sickle.
This is for HRLA to decrease contract services by $110,000.
Have support for that? Support by Zinner. Commissioner?
This was basically to support the training that we purchase for the online training courses. Increasing the amount from last year to this year by 78% seems a little excessive. And it seems like it could go with the amount that we did last year.
Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. I greatly appreciate Commissioner Van Sickle's attempt to reduce these budgetary amounts, but I think with the initiatives on training that are taking place, it's never more needed than now, especially with the amount of new employees that possibly could be coming into the county. So I will be voting no. Thank you, sir.
Seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion fails 3 to 10. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Haw, Song, Matusek, Farrington, Nard, Romano, and Wallace voting no.
Okay, Amendment 15 and 16 have been removed. Amendment 17.
This is in the IT department to decrease the capital outlay by $230,400. This would hold the capital outlay for the IT department at the current value that it is for 2021.
Support Farrington.
Motion by Van Sickle, supported by Farrington. Commissioner Farrington?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I appreciate Commissioner Van Sickle putting this proposal forward. The capital outlay of IT has been significant over the last few years, and I think this is a good area to come back to the current year levels, while at the same time, this commission has voted on changes of $349,000. So to equal that out, I would like to add this to the line items of the decrease so we have a balanced budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 11 to 2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Romano voting no.
Amendment 18.
Give me a second here, Chair. I make a motion to decrease the Supplies and services by 17, for the MSUE by $17,900. Again, starting to roll this back toward previous levels. It seems like we're just
Commissioner,
Too
let
much.
me get support for that motion first. We have support? Made by Van Sickles, supported by Romano. Commissioner, did you want to add anything else? Apologize for cutting you off there.
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Commissioner Nard, I didn't get your vote.
Nard votes yes.
Thank you. Motion fails 5-8. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Haw, Song, Matuzek, and Sabatini and Wallace voting no.
Amendment 19.
Thank you, Chair. It's a motion to decrease conferences and training line item by 10,000.
Support by Nard.
Made by Haw, supported by Nard. Commissioner, would you like to speak? Seeing no speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion passes 11-2. Commissioners Kleinfeld and Brown voting no.
Amendment 20.
Number 20 is transfer two of the clerical full-time employees from the treasurer's office to the prosecutor's office.
Support by Nard.
Made by Romano, supported by Nard.
These were two positions that the treasurer's office had requested that we'd be given serious consideration to, but I think the need is where it should be given to it the most, and that's why I'm missing to the fact that let's take these two employees that we were thinking of giving to the treasurer's office and move them to where they're most needed, and I think everybody would think that possibly that would be the prosecutor's office. That's why I'm making the amendment. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair. I do have a question regarding these two full-time. Are they clerical, or are these just two full-time positions in general? Because we've approved 4 positions for the prosecutor's office already in different amendments.
In response to that, if I may, Chair, well, what we're doing is we're giving an administrative assistant. One was a coordinator, and the other one's a part-time file clerk. These are supposed to be full-time employees, clerical, that the prosecutor's office had requested.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
I think we already voted on the prosecutors, so I think, maybe I'm mistaken, so I'm hoping Joe will clarify. I think what he's saying is this will help cover that we've already voted on. Would that be correct, or are you actually supposing 2 more positions for the prosecutors?
2 more commissions.
Okay.
2 more positions.
Okay, thank you,
Commissioner.
thank you. I appreciate the clarification.
Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. I support Commissioner Romano's amendment. We have a document in front of us indicating the need for those positions, and we have to prioritize, which we have done on every single budgetary item so far. So I want to commend Commissioner Romano. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion fails 5-8. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Song, Matuzek, Farrington, Sabatini, and Wallace voting no.
Amendment 21.
Item 1 is reduce the personnel by approximately $127,200, excuse me, $200 from the Treasurer's Department. It would be eliminating one supervisory position. And the reason I made that amendment was with everybody now using the credit cards, with that COVID coming up now, everybody just, the fact that the personnel that are needed there, in my opinion, really isn't needed as many as they are. And as in fact, we don't have as many personnel, we don't need a supervisor there either. And I think that would be saving us a lot of money in that respect. So with the fact that everybody now coming in is either, very few people are coming in personal to make payments or to do anything else in the treasurer's office. So I figure that this would be a nice savings if we can eliminate one supervisor. Thank you, Chair.
So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Romano. Do we have a support?
Support Farrington.
Supported by Farrington. Are there any other commissioners that would like to speak on this item? Commissioner Farrington?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just like, when the board meets, we often have the department heads, the countywide elected officials present before us. I have not seen Treasurer Rocca present before us, so perhaps reliance on the extra supervisors would not be needed with his continued involvement with the board. Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers on this item, please vote.
Motion fails 6-7. Commissioners Kleinfeld, Brown, Kraft, Zinner, Matusek, Sabatini, and Wallace voting no.
Okay, that brings us through all of the amendments that were submitted to the board for consideration. So we will now move to correspondence, 9A, which is the Treasurer's Office 2021 third quarter report. I need a motion to receive and file.
Support.
Farrington.
Made by Wallace, supported by Haw. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item is public participation. This is the second opportunity for public participation for those who would wish to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any issue. If you'd like to speak, please come up to the podium. Going once. Twice. We'll close public participation. Item number 11 is Commissioner's comments. Commissioner Haw.
Thank you, Chair. Now that these amendments have been taken up by the commissioners, could you explain the rest of the process and timing, please?
Certainly. So now
I
that the
didn't want to
amendments...
put you on the spot, Joe.
Now that the amendments have been made, they'll be forwarded to full board for Thursday.
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kleinfeld.
Thank you, Chair. I went to the full board agenda under board view because I wanted to take a look at the minutes, and there were no attachments. And I know that before we updated Civic Clerk, there was a problem with putting like 1 or 2 attachments in at a time, that they had to prepare everything and put it all in at the same time. I thought that would have been corrected. I don't know if it has been or not, but I also went to tomorrow's meeting figuring I'll get on top of this, and there are no attachments. And I think we've really, whatever we're doing, we have to find a way to be able to get these attachments on our board view of Civic Clerk. I know there's an administrative way to take a look at it, and board chairs will send links to that for approving things. Those of us that aren't chairs don't get that anymore. I don't have that actually bookmarked or anything, but I also know that our employees are somewhat hesitant of us poking around in there because we can accidentally change things and mess things up, which has happened before. So I myself, being technologically challenged, don't like to go into the administrative side of things and poke around. But I know I brought this up before. Also, the second thing is the proclamation that we had approved with upcoming changes for Mr. Toon is not on Thursday's agenda. Is it going to come back on committee, or was there an intent that it not come back? Because
I'm not sure. I'll check that. I'm not sure. I think has it been resolved? Has the corrections been made?
Well, I attempted to go over the corrections. My attempts to do that were rebuffed, so I actually called an employee directly with respect to my concerns on some of the grammar, and this was all strictly grammar. It had nothing to do with any content. And I was told that another commissioner was working with an employee on that. Basically, my input wasn't needed. I did share my concerns, but one of them I wasn't sure how to fix, so I wanted to see what the final outcome was. And when I saw it wasn't on the agenda, I thought maybe I'm not going to actually see the final outcome. So that was a concern for me, because based on the motion, corrections were going to be made, and while the motion didn't state what those corrections were, who were going to make them, it is the board as a whole that collectively votes on those. So that was a concern of mine. If it's already gone to them, then I'm not going to ask to get it back. I'm not going to do that. But I would like to see what the end result was.
We'll share it with the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wallace?
Thank you, Chair. Reminder, Saturday, it will be cold. But the Mount Clemens Parade, we do have a spot. 9 a.m., guys, 9 a.m., we will meet at JK Millworks on Main and Church. And that is our spot to meet, and I will be there. So I hope you can all be there as well. If you want to pass out candy, like I said before, bring your own. There will be kids there waiting excitedly for Santa. All right, so we'll be right before Santa, so they'll be excited, but it won't be for us. So Saturday.
Commissioner Romano?
Thank you, Chair. It's kind of nice to look out in the audience and see all the department heads up there. We don't see them all together so often. So I guess there must be an interest in what we were talking about. It's nice for commissioners as a group, the commissioners that I serve with, to agree to disagree. Some amendments were passed, some had failed, but I honestly feel that the amendments that were made in the best interest of the community, of our residents, and I think these amendments were thought of. A lot of consideration was given to them. Poor Mr. Sabatini, they've been sending them to you left and right, and you've had to overlook those. Same thing with the chair board, Chair Brown. We appreciate your input, and I appreciate every commissioner's input on every one of these amendments, regardless of who passed and who failed. And I just want to say that it's, I think it's nice to work with people, as I said, agree to disagree, and we can still go out and go into the kitchen and have a cup of coffee. That's all I have. Thank you, Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Farrington?
Thank you. Commissioner Romano just got me teary-eyed there. So after spending 6 years in Lansing, this was so not painful compared to what I was expecting. So I respect the heck out of all my commissioners, and great job. Thank you.
Commissioner Haw?
Thank you, Chair. Since Commissioner Farrington brought it up, he was the chair of the Finance Committee in Lansing, so he was sitting opposite of what you're doing, so he really appreciates how you handle this. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other speakers, we'll move to adjournment. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Romano, supported by Farrington. Please vote. Have a great day, Commissioners.